Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you to the City of Somerville Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for Wednesday, June the 18th, 2025. It is 6 p.m. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, this meeting of the Somerville Zoning Board of Appeals will be conducted via remote participation. A video recording of these proceedings will be available on the city website's meetings and events page, or by emailing Somerville Board at Somerville, zoning board at somerville.gov. Under general business tonight, there's nothing listed. And I'd just like to mention that joining us from the board tonight will be Ann Brockelman. She's our vice chair. We have Cecilia Danglian. She's going to be our acting clerk. We have Brian Cook, and I am Ursula Susan Fontano, your chair. Also joining us from the Planning, Preservation, and Zoning Department will be Kit Luster and Steve Carey. And without further ado, the first case on the agenda is 56 Webster Ave. Acting clerk, would you
Yes.
please take care of that?
We open 56 Webster Ave, which has been continued from May 14th. Triad Alpha Partners LLC seeks an extension of time on a previously granted special permit and a modification to the conditions of its approval.
Okay, and when is that going to be continued to?
Continued until July 16th, the next hearing.
2025. Thank you. Could I please have a second for the motion of a continuance?
Second.
Ann Brockelman seconds the motion. All in favor, would you please say aye? Brian Cook,
Aye.
Ann Brockelman,
Aye.
Cecilia Gaglian,
Aye.
and Susan Fontano, aye. Let the record show that all four members in attendance this evening voted the affirmative. So we'll see these folks back on July 16th. Next on the agenda is a new case. It's 374A Medford Street. Acting clerk, please.
Yes, we open 347A Medford Street. Kiro and Homemade Bites Brazilian Cafe LLC seeks to establish a bakery, cafe, or coffee shop in the small business SB overlay zoning district where the underlying zoning is neighborhood residence NR, which requires a special permit.
Thank you very much.
Good evening,
Adam
Madam
Dash,
Chair.
I see you there.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening. If we could also promote Aparecida Sitco and Jacinta Antunes and Junior Garcia. They are also here for this item. They're my clients. Adam Dash, 48 Grove Street, representing Kiro and Bites Brazilian Cafe LLC. Junior Garcia and Aparecida Sitco are the principals of the Kiro Bites, and Jacinta is Junior's wife. This is as we said, as you just stated, my clients are leasing 374A Medford Street in Gilman Square to open a bakery, cafe, coffee shop use, selling fried and baked goods, smoothies, fries, sandwiches, and the like. It'll be a Brazilian-style cafe with some Brazilian dishes. If I could share my screen, it's not a slide-heavy presentation, but I do have a couple of things to show.
Sure.
I need the ability to do that.
This is Kit. You should be all set now.
All right. And if Cindy Larson shows up, the architect, if you could promote her as well. I don't really need her, but always good to have. So there we go. So if you can see my screen, the property here is where the big B is actually on Medford Street. It's parcel 3 here on the city assessor's map. And that is the storefront that they are going to be leasing. I will now scroll down here and let me shrink this because it's getting a little big. This is the storefront. Attached to the two-family house at 374 Medford Street, the storefront is 374A. This was last a pizzeria, but it has been vacant for some time here in Gilman Square. It's in the neighborhood residence zone and the small business overlay. As such, as you know, it requires a special permit. There's not going to be any other work to this building exterior other than signage and painting. Going down to the next here. And not that it matters all that super much. That's what the back of it looks like, such as it is. This is it more in orientation to Gilman Square. You can see the 374A is right here on the right, and then you can see the center of Gilman Square is right down the road here. So it's actually pretty close, although it is in the neighborhood residence zone for whatever reason. And this one's not wanting to populate terribly quickly. Okay, here we go. This is and this is the map, the Google map that gives you a better idea. This right here is 374A. And you can see here is Sarma Restaurant and the Mad Oyster Studios and all, just to give you a orientation for it. So there's going to be, obviously, as you can see, there's no parking on site and there is no parking required. The client will be doing interior renovation. I can show you here. A floor plan, again, not really a zoning matter, but just out of curiosity, you might want to see what the interior looks like. Sorry about that. Trying to get it all on one screen. There we go. It's going to be it's about 600 square feet, so it's pretty small, and it's takeout. There isn't any seating in here. So the city's economic development division has said that they determined that the proposed improvements will help activate the ground floor spaces and facades and dramatically increase visibility and attractiveness of the former vacant ground floor commercial space, improve the interplay of ground floor space and civic space by enhancing the appearance of the site's existing ground floor commercial space by repainting the facade, improve the building signage and wayfinding around the site by installing new dedicated commercial signage on the site's facade, improving the attractiveness of the existing commercial space at the property, and improving site access to pedestrian and bicyclists by providing an attractive destination for such users in the form of an attractive ground floor commercial cafe space. The Economic Development Division has no objections or conditions to applicant's proposal in its current form. So the proposed use meets the goals of the Somerville zoning ordinance and the Summer Vision 2040 plan because it fills the long vacant storefront. It serves residents and businesses in the area, provides a unique food option, being the Brazilian cafe, provides additional tax revenue to the city, enhances the businesses near the Gilman Square T station by giving the people who work there somewhere to eat, and promotes a small family-owned business, as you can see the families here. We held a very positive neighborhood meeting and heard from people who are very excited about this opening and activating that space. Therefore, the applicants asked that this board grant the requested special permit for bakery, cafe, or coffee shop use in the small business overlay, and we're here for questions and comments as you may see fit.
Thank you, Mr. Dash. Didn't get a chance to say welcome to all the folks that came out tonight for you, your team. Right now, we'd like to open it up to the public. I'd like to open the public portion of the 374A Medford Street application. Kit, is there somebody, or Stephen, anybody there that'd like to speak to us? I know they had a neighborhood meeting. It was in our packet, the list of people that attended.
Chair Fontano, this is Kit. I would just ask that if anyone would like to speak, just raise your hand. I'm not seeing anyone at the moment.
Okay. We'll leave it open. We'll look at our notes we have here. I saw a couple of questions. But let's see, have the board to say. Anybody have any questions? No. Cece Adaglian, acting clerk tonight, you have a question?
I do have a question about how just trash from the site will be managed.
Sure, Junior Garcia can explain that better, but Junior, you want to explain? I believe you're just going to be taking putting the barrels out back and then taking them out front, but yeah.
Should I talk?
Oh, how's it? Yeah, sorry.
If Junior will take it out and we'll intend to hire a company to pick it up either once a week or twice a week.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm writing this down. Okay. About the hours of operation, back in March, you really didn't have much of an answer for that. And the city has certain restrictions, don't they, Mr. Dash?
They do. There are certain restrictions, but the licensing commission can, grant it different
Deal with
hours.
that.
Yeah, that's going to be part of the license, not the zoning. But yeah.
Okay, yeah, I thought so. I was just curious myself,
No,
especially at a
if
bus
we
stop
get,
there, getting a cup of coffee nice and early in the morning, going to work, you know?
sure. Yeah, I mean, as with all these kinds of food issues, if we get the special permit, then the next thing I have to do is file the common victualler license. And if you
Yeah.
play music in there, we have to get an entertainment license. And if you store
Yeah,
trash, you
yeah.
need a dumpster permit and a food establishment license from Board of Health. This is just one of multiple steps that have to go.
Yeah, well, we're the beginning, you know?
You
That's
are the
it.
beginnings. Otherwise, there's no point in me doing the other things. Right.
That's right. That's right. So, okay. No one has any questions? Yes, Mr. Cook.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't really have a question. I just was reviewing the special permit considerations.
Yeah.
And I'm convinced by the presentation, by the materials submitted, and by the staff memo that this proposed business, which requires a special permit, excuse me, easily meets the two special permit considerations regarding the comprehensive plan and existing policy plans, as well as the intent of the zoning district where the property is located. And I would have no objections to this proposed business and the special permit.
Great, thank you. So, my question to the board is, well, first of all, let's close the public portion if there's, Kit Lester, is there anybody shown up or wave their hand that you can see?
Chair Fontana, this is Kit. I do not see anyone with their hand up.
Okay, so at this time, I'd like to close the public portion of case 374A Medford Street and go right to the board. They seem content, so I have a couple of questions for the board. Would the board wish to apply the staff's recommendations for the permit conditions? And are there any other conditions any of you folks would want to make to add to the motion? Everything's happy with what we have? Yeah, okay, Ann's shaking her head. Brian is too, I am as well. Cecia, are you ready to make a motion? Please do. So here you go.
Following public testimony, review the submitted materials, incorporating the findings that we made regarding the conditions for a special permit and deliberation of the required conditions outlined by the Somerville zoning ordinance. I motion to approve this special permit with the conditions as stated in the staff memo for 374A Medford Street.
Case ZP 25000040 and the it's posted was June 2nd, 2025. May I have a second?
Second.
Ann Brockelman, all in favor, please say aye. Cecia Daglian,
Aye.
Brian Cook,
Aye.
Ann Brockelman,
Aye.
Susan Fontano, aye. Let the record show that all voting members tonight voted the affirmative. Good luck. Thank you, Mr. Dash. Good luck, you folks. We'll come in and see you maybe.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. We'll be
Yeah.
looking forward to it. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Night.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The, next on the agenda,
Yes,
Is-
oops, sorry.
what, I'm sorry, please, Cecilia, go ahead.
I was gonna open that. We open 142 Cross Street. JAC Investments LLC seeks relief from the secondary front facade build-out requirement to construct an apartment building in the Mid-Rise 3 MR3 zoning district, which requires a hardship variance.
Thank you. And for the record, the, number of that is,
ZP 25-000019.
beautiful, thank you. Who's here tonight? Who's here for 142 Cross Street?
Hello, my name is Evan Stellman from Calsa Design Incorporated. How are you tonight?
Yes. Good, good. Welcome.
We also have Christopher Alberto. He is an attorney for the owner. I'm not sure if he raised his hand or not, but he should be promoted as well.
Ms. Luster, can you take care of that?
Yes.
May I share my screen, please?
Yes. Let's get everybody on board. Let's make sure we see everybody first.
I see Chris was promoted.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you,
Can
Chris.
hear you.
Oh,
Can we
okay.
see you? Are we gonna get to see you?
Oh, okay, here we go. No, well, hold on one second. Almost. There it is. There I am. All right.
Under that pretty umbrella.
Yes,
Well,
exactly.
welcome.
Out by the
Welcome.
pool.
Good for you. Who's gonna do the presentation?
That'll be me.
All right, Evan, go right ahead, please.
So for the record, my name is Evan Stellman with a business address of 17 Ivaloo Street, Suite 400, Somerville, Massachusetts. Today, we're looking at the parcel located at 142 Cross Street. I'll zoom in on the zoning map here to get a sense of the locus. So it is an MR3 parcel. It is 2 lots in from McGrath Highway. So it's at the corner of Cross Street and Alston Street. And it's bound by the MBTA green line on the north side of the site. So
Okay.
today we're seeking a variance for the minimum facade build out, and I'll walk you through why we need that when we get into the site plan. But just to orient you with the site, Cross Street's on the left side of this plan, Alston Street is on the bottom. There's an existing 1-story structure that occupies a majority of the site currently. And that structure, it's not in great condition, and it has been approved by the Historic Commission for demolition. This plan is our proposed site plan. Cross Street's on the bottom here. Alston Street is on the right side. As you can see with this yellow outline, we're proposing a structure that complies with most of the zoning regulations. If we complied with all the zoning regulations, we wouldn't be here tonight. But we are adjacent to an NR zone on the right side from Cross Street. And lots in an MR3 zone require a 10-foot setback from NR lots. So from the right side from Alston, we're required to maintain 10 feet here. And then there's a zoning stipulation that requires a 12-foot curb setback from both fronts. So the building needs to be set back 12 feet from the curb on Alston Street and then 12 feet from the curb on Cross Street. Because of those setback regulations, we're not able to meet the minimum facade build out on Alston Street. We have 13'6" facade build out, and we're required to have just under 15 feet facade build out. So zoning requires that 65% of the Alston Street lot line be built out with a structure, which would be that 15 feet, and we're only able to meet it at 58.6%. I do have another plan on this sheet showing what a compliant structure would look like if we did meet the facade build out. So in order to do that, we would have to violate either the curb setback on Cross Street or we would have to reduce the right side setback from Alston Street to about 8 ft 6 inches. So we thought that going for the facade build out was the lesser of the two evils. That way we would maintain compliance with the intent of the zoning code with regards to setbacks. We are proposing some pretty intensive streetscape updates as part of this project. So we have the 12-foot curb setback on Alston Street, where we have 2 new street trees before the bridge begins. We have some pervious pavers as part of the furnishing zone of the sidewalk. And then on the right side, we have a ramp that comes up to grade, some long-term bike parking, and then an entrance into the rear of the building. These are the proposed elevations of the structure. This top elevation here is the elevation from Cross Street. You can see we have a cast stone material at the base of the building, followed by a cementitious siding with some reglets on the first story as it wraps around to Alston Street. And then the massing at the left side and the upper 2 floors are clad with cementitious siding. And we use some alternate colors to accentuate the massings there. This bottom elevation is the front elevation from Alston Street. It's really just this sliver here that is the front elevation. You can see the same materiality wrapping around from Cross Street onto this elevation. And then these 2 elevations are the right side from Alston Street is this top elevation. You can see that ramp coming up to the rear entrance here. And then this bottom elevation is the left side elevation, which faces the rail right of way to the north of our site. And these are just some proposed perspectives of the structure. As you can see, we're not deviating from the aesthetic of the neighborhood. We're surrounded by a series of 3- and 4-story structures. So we aim to be complementary to the neighborhood. With regards to the circumstances or the conditions required to grant a variance for this, the first condition is special circumstances exist relating to the soil conditions, shape, or unusual character of an existing structure, but not affecting generally the zoning district in which the land or structure is located. I'd say that we fall under this because the lot is an irregular shape, and due to the pie shape that faces Alston Street, literal enforcement of the zoning code would not allow a structure to be developed by right on this lot. The second one is literal enforcement of the provisions of this ordinance for the district where the subject land or structure is located would involve substantial hardship, financial or otherwise, to the petitioner or appellant due to said circumstances. Kind of going off of what I said previously, the existing structure is not in great condition. We do want to provide some housing on this lot, and MR3 zoning is seeking housing in that zone. So we feel that proposing the structure that complies with pretty much all of the other zoning requirements of MR3 zone would be beneficial, and not allowing a variance for the facade build out would be detrimental financially for the appellant. Then the third condition is desirable relief could be granted without causing substantial detriment to the public good and without nullifying or substantially derogating from the intent and purpose of a specific district in this ordinance or the ordinance in general. As I had mentioned, the development is compliant with all other zoning regulations, and we are in keeping with the intent of the neighborhood. We are not proposing anything really far-fetched here. We're just trying to do a simple 3-story, 3-family structure on this lot. I think that's everything that we have, unless Chris, you wanted to add anything.
No, I think you covered it very
Okay.
well.
Okay, thank you. Is
Happy
there
to answer
anyone
any
here?
questions. Sorry.
Is there anyone here from the public that have some questions for our applicant?
Chair Fontano, this is Kit. I would just ask that anyone who would like to speak, just raise your hand. And you'll be given 2 minutes. I'm not seeing anyone at the moment.
Okay. We'll leave it open for a few minutes while we ask some questions. I'd like to open it up to the board. Let me look over here. I can't see the whole board. Could you clear the screen for us so I can see the
Yeah.
board, so I can acknowledge anybody? And then just, we'll stick on in case you want to have to show us something.
Sure.
Ann Brockman's hands up, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a few quick clarification
Mhm.
questions for the architect. There's an existing one-story brick structure right now, right? Looks, in terms of street perception, looks to be 0 lot line. Are you building there or are you moving back? I was still confused.
So we're gonna be moving back.
Okay. So essentially the sidewalk will be widened
Yeah.
on both sides. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have a comment?
Madam Chair.
Brian Cook?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to the applicants or the presenters, it's always the second criterion for the hardship variance that's most difficult for us to articulate
Mhm.
a finding. So JAC Investments LLC is currently the owner of the property?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. And it is their perspective that they can't build anything else on it if they don't have, if they don't get this hardship variance approved, therefore their investment in the property is essentially lost. I mean, could you speak to that a little bit?
Well, yeah, the existing structure, it hosted a pizza shop for a little bit. It's currently sitting vacant. It is in need of pretty significant repairs. So redeveloping the lot, basically anything that we do would require variance due to the facade build out.
In order for them to get any return on their investment.
That's correct. They have owned the property for a number of years now. I think they're just they're determining the best use for the property now and how to proceed with the structure moving forward.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I have is that it, Brian? You're all set? Thank you. I had a couple of questions. When I looked down at the how we categorize it, is this one building, and staff can speak to this. This is Steve's case, yes? Steve Carey?
Hi, Susan. That's correct. This is my case.
Hi, okay, good evening. MR3, is this the only building on that spot that's MR3?
I believe it is. I think MR3 continues across the bridge. But I believe it is not, there's no other contiguous MR3 with this parcel, I believe. I can check this.
I can share my screen and show the map if that's helpful.
That'd be great.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it's you are across the bridge, rather, urban residents, but yeah, this is a lone MR3.
Okay, how does that happen? Because it was already a business? You think that's how they took that into consideration? Because
Sorry,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, go
well,
ahead.
I'm like, I think it's big for that corner with residents on the other side. And I know that street's pretty mixed up. There's a flag company at the end and there's other businesses way, way down the other end. But on this corner, and believe me, I know it needs to be improved aesthetically. It's ugly. And I used to patronize, years ago, there was a restaurant there. It wasn't just a pizzeria. It was a full-blown Italian restaurant and the food was to die for. And it was a small place, but they had, you know, like 3, 6, 9, like maybe 9 or 10 tables in there and a bar on the other side. And it's just unfortunate that it's fallen into disrepair because it is really an eyesore. And there's been some work done on that, the corner there on Cross Street on the other side. And I know the T's come through and they've cleaned up the trees and all that jazz. So it'd be nice to have something nice and new there. But I'm looking at the house beside it, there are residents there. And I'm like, what happens to this side of their house that they have nothing but this building up against them, 10 feet, and all windows and stuff? The new people moving in, they never had a view because it's a new building, but the old building next to it, and part of it is the roofing that I would like to know how high in its roof. It's not all their house. That's why I say about the 3rd floor. How tall is this building going to be?
Chair Fontano,
the height?
if I may, just, I mean, of course, the architect should answer that question, but if I may, just to go back to your first question about why it's MR3, I can't speak to that. The city council is the one who's determined zoning, but what's sort of within the scope of the board's review tonight isn't the story height or height of the building, because that's compliant. That's you know, that complies with the zoning ordinance. What they are asking for relief from is from the secondary facade build out. And actually the reason they're not able to make that secondary facade build out is because they're respecting the 10-foot requirement from NR, which is, you know, intended to reduce the impact of MR3 sized buildings on neighborhood residence districts. So they are, you know, trying to abide by that. And just the scale and the height of the building they're proposing is compliant with the zoning ordinance.
Yeah, no, I thought it was, but that's what was my first question was, how does this MR3, how did that get zoned there when they were laying out the maps? We were laying out the maps, the planning department to the alderman, and at the time alderman, now it's the councilors. And so that was zeroed into that. And I didn't know if it was because it was a business and it maybe just fell out. They thought maybe another business would want to stick there, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I mean, I can't speak to the council's thinking, but anyway, you had asked the applicant a question regarding the height of the building, so I'll stop speaking now.
Right, so the height is 32 feet from grade to the top of the roof, and then the head house adds an additional 10 feet to that. With regards to the abutting property to the right, we actually, my firm is actually working with that property owner to develop an addition to their structure. From my conversations with them, they don't have any objections to the project that we're presenting tonight.
In addition to their property, how to raise their roof?
They're putting an addition to the rear of their property, but it would be by right and in the NR zone, so.
Mhm.
They also, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, I can,
Okay.
Mr. Alberto.
They also attended the neighborhood meetings that we had in this case, both neighborhood meetings, and they have no objection to the height in this plan. I think they welcome the improvement.
Oh, I bet they do.
Hmm.
Bet they do, because it's been really, I go by it all the time and my heart breaks because I know what it was before for years, you know? And this here, I'm looking at something here. 1 second. And. All right. All right. Okay, well, if there's nobody, has anyone shown up for the public portion?
Mayor Fontana, this is Kit. I do not see anyone with their hand raised.
Okay, so number one, we're gonna close the public portion of this meeting for 142 Cross Street and move to the board. You had some questions Do you have any more? Now, just a point of information, everybody. We need the quorum, we need the 4 votes for this to go through tonight. Is everybody comfortable what we're dealing with right now? You happy with? I am, Cece is, and are you? Yeah, okay. I'm not nuts about it, guys. I hate to say that. I just think it's very large. It's on the corner. It's 32 plus another 10 for that, the head house. Where's all the equipment and stuff gonna go on, the air conditioning and all that jazz? Up there?
Up on the roof, yeah.
And there was something in the report that the 3rd floor people are gonna have access to the roof,
Yeah, that's the reason for the head house up there. So they have
so
a
they can get up there.
a small deck on the roof. It's not a substantial size.
But also the head house is there for equipment.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And then there was one other comment I had about that. Oh, in the report, it says about the 3rd floor, people get that. And I was looking at the 2nd floor. There's a little balcony there for them. Is there only on that side of the building? Is there 2 balconies?
There's one balcony on the 2nd floor on the
And
right
one
side
on the
of
first?
structure, and then the 1st floor has a patio.
Oh, they do have the patio.
Mhm.
And how big is that? How big is the balcony? About? You don't have to be precise.
I think it's about 5 by 6.
All right, just so you can get out and get the chair and get some sunlight, huh?
Yeah.
All right. And I want to check one more thing and then we'll go for the vote. I just want to make sure of something.
It's 40 square feet, so it's about 5 by 8. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, so you did have a neighborhood meeting, 2 of them.
2 of them.
So we kind of went through an odd process through this project. We submitted for the special permit first with a different design. Had
Yeah.
a meeting for that. And then we got an updated survey that showed the curb closer to the
Yeah.
property line, which introduced the need for variance because we want to be able to meet the facade build out.
Sure.
At the curb location. So we had started the process for the special permit,
Yeah.
then had to come back for the variance.
Okay, great, thank you.
Sure.
So I'm all set. Is everybody all set? All right, so I'm gonna ask the clerk to please make a motion.
Madam Chair, are we going to incorporate the permit conditions as written by staff?
Is everybody comfortable with that?
Madam Chair, I'm comfortable with the language in the staff memo for both the hardship criteria
Yeah,
and of course the standard conditions that are
Yeah.
in the memo.
I am as well. Everybody else, Ann, you okay with that? All right, good. Then we can go forward with the motion. Go ahead, Cecia.
Then following public testimony, review submitted materials, and upon deliberating and finding that all criteria required for issuing a hardship variance as required by the Somerville zoning ordinance have been satisfied, I motion to approve with the conditions as set forth in the staff memo dated June 12th, 2025. To approve the variance for 142 Cross Street, ZP 25-000019.
Second,
Thank you. Seconded by Brian Cook. All in favor, please say aye. Ann Brockelman,
I,
Cecia Daglian,
Aye.
Brian Cook,
aye.
and Susan Fontano, aye. Let the record show that all members voting in the affirmative, and it's unanimous to approve the hardship variance.
Perfect.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Make it pretty, make it pretty.
Sure thing.
Mhm.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Aye.
So, for the record, here, there's no other business listed. Does anybody else have some comments they want to say tonight? No?
How
Okay,
does Cecilia feel about
It was,
working for the first time?
it was fun. It was easier than I thought it was
You
gonna
did
be.
well, yeah.
But Brian, you helped out by sort of prompting the conditions. I really appreciate that.
Teamwork over here.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I loved it too. I caught right on to that, Cecilia, that Brian did that. And so you were pretty comfortable doing it though too as well? Wouldn't dread it another time?
I don't
Good,
know.
good. And do we have, so Ian, do you want to do it? So who do we have? I think next week, I have my little cheat sheet here. The next meeting, not next week, the next meeting is July 16th. And I don't believe I have anybody who's not gonna be here. So if you want to commit tonight, you may do so. If not, we'll throw it out there and see if anybody bites. Because now we have Zach and Fullerton, might even go ahead. You're the vice chair. All right,
To do it.
you're happy to do it? Okay, well, that's it. We've got, let the record show, please, to Kit Lester there, that Ann Brockelman's gonna be our acting clerk that night. That's the July 16th meeting.
Got it.
And everybody know, we only have one meeting in July. So you'll be able to enjoy your fun in the sun. Anybody else have anything? No? Okay, you guys. Thank you very much for everything.
Happy 4th of July to everyone. We won't see you
Yeah.
before then.
Yeah, I know it. So I'm gonna make a motion that we adjourn the meeting. Could I have ask the clerk to make a motion and then somebody second it, please?
I motion to adjourn the meeting of June 18th, 2025.
Second.
Seconded by Ann Brockelman. All in favor, please say aye. Cece Daglian,
I
Brian Cook,
Aye.
Ann Brockelman,
Aye.
Susan Fontano, aye. Let the record show all voting members of the board voted in the affirmative to adjourn the meeting of June 18, 2025 at 6:42 p.m. Thank you, everybody, and thank you to staff. Have a good night. and
Have a good night.
good night.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.